welcome to Your View. It's Wednesday, it's Tuesday. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me, and it's YK's birthday month. Yay! And because it's your birthday month, ladies and I decided that we're going to be YK-ish. Every Tuesday and Thursday, so we're all YK-ish. So we have a bit of a YK.
I can see.
You're not wondering.
Oh,
YK inspired out
here. You didn't notice.
I saw the scarf and I was going to say, Morel, this is a YK.
This is my bag because I was hiding my hands that.
So,
if she sees this, she will know that this is what trying to copy.
To celebrate your 60th anniversary, birthday anniversary is important for us too. Just, honor you in just showing that we appreciate your passion, your life, what you do, and you've taught us a lot of things. So
thank you.
This is you.
Cry.
No, don't cry. But how are you doing?
I'm fine. Guess what? Andrew came to Shrine on Sunday.
What? Andrew was straight down?
Yes.
What?
Which Andrew?
The sweeter Andrew.
No.
Our Andrew, Andy.
Our
Let's see how well. Andrew says that you can see how much everybody knows.
I thought Andrew from the UK. Oh, how cool.
Yes, so he came to Shrine. The guy from Entertainment Splash. Many of the Shrine, Tolu is always there. So the tallest guy. So we all had the rollicking time.
Oh, nice.
So cool.
Well done. He's a fun guy to be around. I've got to a few parties with him, and he's just crazy.
Yeah,
good friend, good conversation, and he's a good party guy. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm grateful to
love the bangles.
Yes. Repping YK power. How do we do that? Yes, this is how we do it. So I'm good. It's my birthday month, but I already said there are two icons.
Oh my goodness, that's true. We should celebrate YK.
Yeah.
No. It's also your birthday month.
No, Murayo. I have decided voluntarily to focus this May celebrating YK and FD. That's Fela Durotoye and Yemi Kuti. They are the two.
That doesn't mean we shouldn't give you gifts.
Yes, now it's your birthday month.
But
wait till her birthday.
But the past 3 days, I've had the craziest migraine. Honestly, yesterday, when we come on the show and say thank God for life, we just say it. But yesterday morning, it was more like my husband drove around to get one particular drug. I was calling FD Natural, calling everybody. My BP is low. It was just a pounding all through that Saturday. I had migraine, but I just kept holding myself and working. So I pushed myself too far, and I'm just like, when I woke up this morning, I'm like, is he there? He's not there. Like, he's gone? Okay, glory to God, So,
how are you doing, Mariam? I like the hats.
Yes,
I
like inspired. I looked for a
inspired
hat that would match, but I was like, okay, at least inspired by what
It's a lovely hat.
Thanks. So, yesterday, my children were supposed to resume physical school. Schools have resumed, but my son, we had an incident. And I actually need help. I think maybe I'm wondering if someone can help me. My son, from when he was small, when he falls on his face, and he's always cracked his front teeth. The baby teeth actually came out because he fell on his face, and it came out. And as he's grown older, once in a while he will fall on the tooth. He's cracked one, and now he's cracked the other. So I'm wondering if there's a balance issue that I'm not noticing. Yes, and I'm wondering, who do I go to? Is there an ear and ENT doctor? Who do you go for something like that? I just need to know, because it just seems quite, the same pattern when he falls on his face.
Ask a doctor.
Someone in the general hospital would help you, and I think Nima can get to contact a general hospital. Somebody who's an expert can actually
someone who's specialist. Yes, that's what I mean.
But they can fix that, right?
So of course, like the other one, they had to use there's an artificial one that they put. But for me, it's just that falling on that same spot over and over.
Interesting.
My
son too fell, same thing, and he had that chip, but he's still a baby, so the chip has been removed. But same things have to be observant. Maybe it's, to be sure it's not the same thing.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm thankful. I'm grateful for
and this scarf really suits me.
It looks like it. I feel like, look at YK's sister. It's very, very YK-ish. Let's go on a break. It's still Tuesday.
I'm going to start showing off my hair.
We love your hair. All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we'll start with the nation. Abductors threaten to kill 17 students after 55 million naira ransom. NIN registration deadline now June 30th with 54 million enrolled. NDLEA recovers drugged cakes and cocaine at eateries. I really wanted to read that story, but I didn't find it.
I took it in another paper.
It was in the Sun.
Yeah, I took it.
Makinde under fire over 1.2 billion naira Oyo Lodge. Mbaka, I took 3 expatriates contractors to Buhari. Businessman arrested over Imo attacks. Okay, which story are we taking here?
Yeah.
Let's start with the NIN.
Let me take the NIN because the major headline is everywhere. So the NIN, they're saying that the federal government may be extending the registration till June 30th, and they're also happy with the success rate. As of today, we have 54 million people who have registered. Of course, we understand, we remember that the NIN SIM linkage is to help in fighting the war against Boko Haram, banditry, fraudsters, and they say that this would definitely help in tracing all criminals. And they have 3,800 centers and hoping that there will be more centers as well concerning this. So it's a good thing. And we hope that and then they're also saying that the ban on the registration for the SIM will also be taken down quite soon. But they're introducing a new software so that you're not able to register via proxy for your SIM. And this is all in the effort to fight against all that we're going through, the insurgencies, the violence, the killings, the kidnapping, the banditry, all those things.
But the question I have, we are trying to build a tourist country. Tourists come in and they want phones. Are they going to go and register for NIN too? How do they get phones? Because if you're not allowed to have phones...
These are questions we need to ask.
So I guess that's why they said very soon the SIM will be taken off. Okay, so they have to come in to get that. I guess because of the peculiarity of our situation right now.
NIN numbers because they're not.
So I know that with Dubai, you register and you drop your passport details. So and maybe you can have that system, create a system for non-Nigerian.
Okay, let's find another story. There's a story about the businessman that was arrested. The name was a suspected businessman was arrested. He's from a middle-aged man. He's from Osu local government area. And he's been linked to the killings that have been happening in Owerri Correctional Center. He, along others, was said to have been under security surveillance following the attacks, and his arrest is yet to be confirmed by officially. But security sources did tell reporters that he's been in custody, and according to them, according to a reliable source, over 12 hoodlums operating as unknown gunmen at the state have been apprehended. So I'm happy that investigation is ongoing and arrests are being made. And the governor, Uzodinma, has actually said that we should stop the blame game and let us try to fix the problem. That we're just throwing blames, and where we are right now at the point where we must actually find ways to solve this problem.
And but even the PDP have said they're going to try to assist, come up with ideas with APC. And this is not a time for politics. Nigerians' lives are in danger.
I need to take the picture story. I know it's somewhere else, but can we just take it now? The cake, the cocaine.
Okay, so in
Plateau.
No, first of all, before Plateau, let Plateau be the last, please. Don't let us be ashamed of ourselves. Anyway, so NDLEA they have arrested a 24-year-old student of the University of Tech, Minna, for selling cannabis. What he would do, he would hide it within his textbooks, pages of his textbooks, and he was found within the vicinity of the campus selling that. And they said 2 days prior, they had arrested 2 others who had 32 kg of cannabis sativa. And this ones, they were on the road, on Mokwa Jeba Road. Then also there was this operation in Jos, where some eateries have been closed for selling freshly baked cakes made with cannabis sativa, is what they're called. And they put them, they're also called brownies. So that's, I think in this case, this is openly sold. They also have, they're also able to arrest somebody, a 28-year-old lady in Suka. She had about 23 grams of cocaine, 3.8 grams of meth, And okay, in the Jos too, they had what they call psychotropic substances.
Right, right.
So this thing, what has happened, what NDLEA has done for us now is to let us know how almost mainstream this thing has become. That they're not even afraid. You're walking around, you're selling it, you're openly...
It's so painful. Moving on now to Punch very quickly. Outrage as Benue herders murder 19. Bandits vow to kill the 17 varsity students. Picture here of scenes of a forest where an elephant was shot dead by unknown hunters in Ogun State. Wife tackles Ekiti accuser over rape allegation against ex-lawmaker. Soldiers kill businessman in car at Owerri checkpoint, frame victim. Gunmen abduct 3 Ibarakwa branch owners, demand 10 million naira. NICOM places insolvent, defaulting insurance firms under watch. And by attacking me, current government courting God's wrath, says Father Mbaka. Okay, let's take Naima. Story, YK.
No, I was going to take the Owerri-based businessman.
Oh, yes.
He was at the checkpoint. And normally you're supposed to give them something, pay them something. But he said, look, he didn't have money. So they riddled his car with bullets and dropped his body at the police station. So the police contacted the family and said, oh, it's not us, it's the soldiers. And their claim was because he didn't do the needful at the checkpoint. And I'm even wondering, why would you have a checkpoint like that in this kind of insecurity, you know, searching innocent, and then you now shoot him. He had nothing in the car. He just bought his car that day.
Imagine that, that day.
Yes.
That day.
Oh, my Lord.
So his brother is saying that he's going to look for justice. However,
all right, let's talk about NICOM. There was a story, FFG prefers 400 suspected Boko Haram sponsors borrowed insurance operators charges.
Let me take the NICOM.
The NICOM, okay, go ahead.
Because a few insurance companies have been defaulting on their claims. And NICOM is the National Insurance Commission. Their job is to protect customers and allow them get their claims when they have insurance claims like that. So they are flagged that a few insurance companies are insolvent, but that they're not rushing to recapitalize or close down those insurance companies, that they are putting them on the checklist. Only one insurance company has his license withdrawn, that's UNIC, that Unique Insurance, and that they had been trying to be bought over by a South African Liberty Insurance Company, but that fell through, and now they are just unable to meet any claim. But Nigerians have been encouraged to patronize, to have insurance. Can we at least list the companies under watch so that we will be careful of putting our money where we might not be getting...
Let's talk about the elephant story. I'm really interested in that. What happened to
There's no story, really, just in Ogun State.
There's no story, but you know, in Ogun State, there is a part of Ogun State that breeds elephants. Elephants are there.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I found out when Mamosun was governor.
Okay.
Yeah, because
like an elephant village or something. Like you just go
It's
there.
not a village.
They just stay in the forest.
Reside there. It's in the forest. Yeah. So obviously they've gone to that forest and killed them.
Now, what is sad about this? Because many Nigerians, when we see pictures like this, we're like, oh, please, we're hungry. Stop saying things like that. The sad thing about animals like this is that we know we're all interrelated. When you kill these animals, the elephants especially are called like caretakers of an ecosystem. When you kill them, all the plants, all the animals that depend on them would also perish, and it will affect us as well. Yeah. So what we are thinking is food today would cause you so many problems down the line.
That's what they said.
Conservation conversation is very important. We should educate ourselves and understand that this affects us in the end.
But I think even that place is protected. It's supposed to be protected.
Poaching. So these people should be arrested.
Yes.
If you don't learn anything from the Lion King movie, it's like there's a circle of life. We're all in that circle of life.
The circle of life.
So, the minimum.
All right, we have to run, unfortunately. We have to go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Now we're moving on to Vanguard. Pay 100 million naira, give us 10 bikes, or we'll kill the 17 students, says the abductors. Uzodinma blasts leaders for graveyard silence over insecurity. I think I talked about that earlier. Chief leaders urge governors Sule Otom to end Nasarawa Benue killings. APC puts membership base at 40 million, over 40 million. Apapa Oshodi Expressway, motorist commuters lament deplorable Mile 2 road. Bank documentation delaying return of £4.2 million loot to Nigeria. This is Malami. 2023 polls to hold in 176,000 polling units in INEC creates additional 57,000. And World Press Freedom Day, Atiku Obaseki Sanwo-Olu, others seek press freedom. Okay, which story? Let's take the major headline.
The major headline. Very tough to take. So the spokesperson for the abductors of the Greenfield students have said that they're going to kill the 17 students left if they are not paid 100 million and given 10 Honda bikes. And they said that the 17 students, they have 15 ladies with them and 2 boys. And they said they heard what the governor of Kaduna State said, where he says he's not going to pay ransom. And that's why all the other 5 were killed, was to show that the Nigerian government has failed. And if they do not pay this money as of today, these students will be killed. He also alleges that there's the grandchild of the 18th Emir of Zelzel, the late Alhaji Shehu Idris' grandchild is part of the students that have been kidnapped. So that's the sad state of events.
You see, this story, I read it. I even heard this on the news as well, and they paid them 55 million.
Yes.
They are still asking for another 100 million. There's no guarantee that they will release those students. The kidnapper himself went to VOA, Voice of Nigeria, to go and be making this. How he got there or how they got to him, I don't know. But VOA carried it, and he made this speech saying,
what he said.
Jalingo. He called,
yes, Sani Jalingo.
We are talking NIN. These
are people that you can actually find. These are people you can actually have access to. I mean, it's so painful. Why?
It's painful. Now, what is paining me is these ones are the ones in the paper. What of the ones
that we don't
have here? Because the papers today, 3 kidnapped in the Barakpa, everywhere. The ones, my friend's friend was kidnapped on Saturday. They're asking for 100 million. Moe here, on her farm. Was kidnapped. I've not seen any paper in any
Yes,
papers.
that is the difference.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Right. So there are so many,
kidnappings that take place
that we don't hear about.
Yeah, and then also the in Kogi State, you know, the local government chairman of Yagba West also was kidnapped. He's asking for 100 million for that one as well.
Please let me take the story of commuters that the Apapa Oshodi Expressway always busy. This particular junction, mile 2 inward Ijesha. My parents live there. There's a terrible crater, like even around Fagbems area, whether it rains or not, your car literally goes in and out. Massive area. And it was reported that some members of Lagos State management brought some things to do like a palliative on the road, but 2 days now, nothing has been done to alleviate the crisis at that Fagbems filling station area. Can we please, because people are hustling for their living.
Father Mbaka again has responded because, you know, Garba was trying to tell Nigerians, undermine what he was saying, that, oh, is it not Father Mbaka that came to ask for contracts? Well, Father Mbaka has responded, and he said very clearly that, yes, indeed, he took 3 expatriates to the government during the first term of Buhari because they said they had the solution to solve the insecurity problem of Nigeria within a month. And he took that in good faith to help the country. And that it is laughable that Garba Shehu using that, and childish also, using that to try to undermine his position as a father, to explain, to be able to speak to the government in times like this. So that was that story. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Let's find a story we've not taken. Tension in Imo as soldiers kill businessman. Blackout looms in Abuja, Niger, others, as lawmakers warn of moves to take over Shiroro Power Station. Press Freedom, Jonathan Foundation calls for free press. Anyim urges Buhari to set up commission of inquiry as solution to nationwide crisis. Police nab gun runner, recover AK-47 rifle in Oyo. And PDP charges FG to deploy technology to fight insecurity. Okay, which story are we taking in Daily Sun?
Power supply.
Go ahead, please.
So, since last week when the Niger State governor flagged the fact that Boko Haram have taken over 20 communities in Niger, in a state, and they've hoisted their flags, follow-up to that, the Minority Caucus of the National Assembly, led by Senate Minority Leader Enyama Abaribe, disclosed that while on his way from Edo to Abuja, he was attacked twice by bandits. And he said that the Shiroro power plant supplies Abuja, most of the northern region, and that Shiroro power plant is a short distance from where Boko Haram have already taken over one of the communities within the Shiroro local government, which means that Boko Haram is in close proximity to the power station, and that we need to deal with this issue very fast, because it's easy for Boko Haram people to access the Shiroro power plant, blow it up, and that will cause us major power outage. There should be speedy actions towards protecting that facility.
We're under siege.
Exactly.
And then they've arrested, the Lagos State Police have arrested 11 traffic robbers at the Kejia Railway crossing.
Good.
Said some were arrested during the operation, and then the others were arrested at their hideouts on the 1st of May. So.
And there are many other areas where in traffic people come in to rob. We must have more security.
And that goes to...
we should have more security. We talk
We
about
have more security. You know, we're just saying the same thing over here. Yeah, we're saying the words.
In schools, have more security on the road, have more security in your toilet.
I think at the end of the day, the real security is to provide basic amenities to every citizen.
Yeah, this weekend was just bad news for me.
It was just
like Alaba, you know Alaba, the shrine.
Yes, Alaba.
Waiter was killed on.
My God. Oh my goodness.
On Saturday. He took off his head.
No. Yes, in this Lagos.
In this Lagos. She has not even got. She was just beside herself with grief. You know, and I don't know if it's called.
The Nigerian Tribune. After 25 years, NEC to create 50,000 new polling units battles external forces. Anambra youth tie man to tree, flog him for beating his mother. NDLA arrests varsity students for selling cannabis in textbooks in Niger. Bill and Melinda Gates divorce after 27 years. 19 killed, houses burnt as suspected herdsmen attack Benue community, amongst other stories. Which story? Let's talk about the
human interest story.
Yes, the human interest.
So there's this middle-aged man that was seen in a viral video beating up his mother. He took a stick to her, beat her, started slapping and hitting her. And then a few youths in his area traced who he was, questioned him, were sure that he was the one. He confessed to beating his mother. And that then they applied the Indigo traditional discipline on him. They tied him to a tree and they flogged him so hard and warned him never to do that again. And that is what is usually done to people who beat up their parents. So this is one of our traditions I'm quite proud of. Yes.
When I saw
it deserved
it. It was painful that are we raising children? If you saw when he beat his mother,
how do you do that? I actually thought it was on drugs. Probably. I could have thought it was on drugs.
We really need to, that clip needs more publicity so that the punishment meted out to him was justified.
But also they should check him for drug abuse and drug use.
Should you, no matter how angry you have, beat up your
Okay, moving on to The Guardian. He pushed, wait, I'll send the video to you. Pushed her, hit her, kicked her. Yeah, he kicked her. But unfortunately, I wish I saw the beating, because I only saw them tie him to the. I didn't see the beating.
The marks on his body showed that he was really beaten.
Okay. The Guardian. This story is quite painful to read, but it's the reality of our times. State governments face historic liquidity crisis. In plain terms, the governors don't have money, pretty much. And this story, according to the report, this growing liquidity crisis suggests that many state governors are now queuing for commercial loans to offset spending plans and schedules that cannot wait. This is raising dust in the financial circle, as it would increase already high banks' exposure to governments. Remember this, we have the internal debt and the domestic debt and the international debt that we're owing. And also because of the issues we have economically with COVID-19, where companies have been forced to slow down, and many of them cannot actually grow their revenue internally. So they're having issues right now. And the reality is they can't go cap in hand anymore, because what is coming from the source obviously has totally
there's nothing there.
Dissipated, yes.
I think that there are many businesses that are saying they've had a successful year despite the pandemic. And if businesses can have a successful year, then states too can be creative enough to have the same. So they should talk to the businesses. So you can't have government on one side, entrepreneurs on one side. They must meet and find creative solutions to the problem, because it is impossible for a country as rich as Nigeria in terms of human resource for us to be liquid insolvent.
We're all here when they're taking debts now. They're all collecting loans. They're collecting the money and they were not creating industries. No, now. We just come home, share the money, and we'll consume it. Don't create ways. You know, it's just so painful. But right now, I would like to echo what former president of Nigeria, General Obasanjo said. Okay. That he's an optimist, and that it will shake, but it will not fall apart.
Amen.
So he has said it, and I'm holding on to, because he's there. They call him the whatever.
There was something in the papers.
We have to run, YK.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we have to run. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So the federal government has resolved to deny non-Nigerian passport holders and non-residents who visited Brazil, India, or Turkey within 14 days entry into Nigeria. So the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 said this following the cases of COVID-19 fatalities across the world, and particularly India. And it's important that we have a conversation on this, because where we are is such that many of us have become complacent, because we feel that nobody is dying anymore. There are reduced number of COVID-19 cases. Therefore, we've thrown caution to the wind. All of us, including myself, I would say. So we all attend parties. And I think it's the same thing that happened in India. India, such that I think they had very little casualties at the time. And then they became very complacent. And then eventually they've gotten to this point. Yes, YK?
What they did was they had a festival.
Yes, I was going to come to that.
Thousands and thousands of people.
Yes.
They were bathing in the river.
Yeah, that's
usual culture.
Yeah.
I was watching the news and they were saying, these people, they're going to have COVID. See them, they have thrown caution. And true, within 14 days, this is what we are seeing.
And what is even worse is that the virus has mutated to a more lethal virus, such that it's killing faster. Now, people are dying because they don't have enough oxygen within the hospitals to save lives. Family members are actually sourcing privately for oxygen to keep their family members alive. We are having this conversation because to remind us that COVID is still existing in the world. And maybe we should just also be very careful.
I know one thing about India.
Comparison better.
Okay.
Because India is like Nigeria on many fronts. We're similar in terms of our cultural, we want to be together. We're similar in terms of close-knit family. We're similar in terms of the number, sheer volume of people in a location. And we're also similar in terms of that place of believing we are spiritually above. We're superhuman beings. It did not affect us when it was killing the whites. Because when the Western world
in the poverty level.
In the poverty level as well.
People also.
So when the developed countries were having their hits, the crisis was killing a lot of them there. India, like Nigeria, sort of seemed immune. They, like us, were not feeling the brunt of death the way it was happening in other countries. So there's the level of death. People died in Nigeria of COVID. Same way people died in Nigeria in India of COVID, but it wasn't at the quantum we were seeing in America, in Italy. And so there was this like, we're free, we're not like them. There's something, we're drinking ginger and we're drinking
turmeric,
Ayurvedic stuff is working for us. Hello? Ayurvedic stuff worked for them, but right now, they threw caution into the wind, and this is what we have. And so we mustn't let the same thing that happened to them happen to us.
So I'm happy also that our government is taking steps, unlike many other times where we seem to take our time. So it quickly stepped in and saying that people coming in from those countries, if you're a non-resident, first of all, you won't even be allowed in. But secondly, if you are a resident and if you're Nigerian, from the airport straight, they'll test you. Once they test you, if you're negative, they'll still watch you, you know, and 7 days do another test. And if you're positive, you know, all the treatments that is required. I'm happy about that. And it shows, for me, this shows how serious we are about making sure that we do not have a third wave. And when the government is doing its own part, Nigerians, we need to do our part as well. Most of our kids have gone back to school, physical school. Many of us were able to keep our children for a year, and then when we saw their results, we were like, they better get back to that physical school. But we need to do, thankfully, I see also many schools are particular about the mask for their children, they're washing hands, you must have an extra sanitizer. So we need to do that. What we have been doing so far, I mean, at the height of it, when we're so afraid of it, that's what we need to keep on doing. So wash our hands, use sanitizers, use our masks, and social distance.
So we use the face mask just to enter a building. Once we enter it, that's it. All of us, is our identity to enter somewhere. Once we enter, we're done.
I think, like, when you start eating, you will remove your face mask. When you start drinking, you will remove your face mask. But, like me, I will enter, I will sit down, I will wear my face mask. But if I have to eat or drink, I will
take it off.
I don't take it down like this. I take it down like this.
Okay.
So leave it hanging. When I finish, I hang it back again. But I've noticed that in some places, when I go to Abeokuta, everyone looks at me like the enemy.
Yes.
We're still doing yes. All of us. That's why I say we're here saying that we are all equally in this. But the one thing I also wanted to state is how important India is to Nigeria. Number one, remember, India is the one helping us with our vaccine. That first, that first batch we got came from India, and they already told us that we can't afford to give you the next batch.
Even they are collecting.
They are collecting now. Secondly, India is our destination, medical tourism. For kidney people are having issues with kidney transplant, and they're in the hospital right now. Unfortunately, they can't travel to India as we speak because we are at that point where we just simply need to be very careful. India, we shouldn't just say, oh, it's India. India is very important to us.
I'm even worried about Nigeria seeking options for where to get the second dose of vaccination, because we've gotten vaccinated, which means that by default, in a few weeks' time, we should be getting the second dose. But where we're supposed to get from, they have a crisis. They're not going to give you.
The government has said...
But I thought they had stopped...
they stopped giving out.
So that they can give you the second
But,
dose.
and another thing I realized is, I read a quote somewhere, many Nigerians go there because it's cheaper. India, the surgeries that can be done in Nigeria are done cheaper in India. Within Nigeria, we don't have that option of India anymore. Let's begin to look within and provide support to one another so that we don't have cases of people dying from kidney issues, health crises, because they can't travel or because they can't afford medical care. There are many other ways we can help ourselves.
I want to remind you, because India was very strict at the beginning for this COVID thing. They were very strict. They were catching people, they were caning them. I saw videos of them caning people on the road.
That we felt were too harsh.
I saw them carry people and put them inside the bus for not wearing masks. I saw many videos in India. But India relaxed.
Yes.
They relaxed. That festival that they had, you know, because I'm sure COVID, you can pass it through water. All of you are inside the river swimming.
You know, and we've been doing concerts here. We're having parties. Although we still have that restriction of maximum of 500 in a room. And they saw. I mean, I've been to churches. There's social distancing. People they separate the seats
in the big churches.
In the big churches, you know. But the point is that it's important to have this conversation to remind us that please watch. For those of you that don't have access to international news, go online, check it. India's case right now should be a lesson to us, to me, to all of us that listen. Let's take this thing seriously.
Very, very. It's critical.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take.
India didn't take it seriously.
They did at the time, but they were just like
first,
us.
I get them before no be property. You got it right the first time. Doesn't guarantee you.
Okay, let's go on a break. Now, when we come back, we'll move on to our Let's Talk. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So following the recent commemoration of World Health Day, which was last Wednesday, the 28th of April, with the theme Anticipate, Prepare and Respond to Crisis. Join us on the show to discuss investing in resilient occupational safety and health systems, and also to focus on investing time and resources to maintain hygiene practice in preventing domestic accidents post-COVID-19 is an administrator and a safety solution consultant, Dominga Omolara Odebumi. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Safety, generally, and I think it's one of the things that we're not very, very accustomed to in this part of the world. We just take things for granted, you know. People will be all right, you know, let's do it anyhow. You know, talk about low balconies, you know, slippery tiles at public places, unhygienic toilets, you know. How do we begin? What are those things in your own profession that you've seen that we've been very complacent about? And how can we begin to fix it and change the thinking of Nigerians towards it?
Amazing. Well, thank you, first of all, for having me on this show. And I'm sure it's an opportunity to enlighten our view of the viewers. And yes, of course, we do take it seriously. It's just that we don't act it. Now, you hear a lot of people say different things concerning, well, if somebody is drawing your attention to something that could be hazardous, instantly there's a reaction. Whoop, God forbid. So we take it seriously. It's just that we don't act it. We don't actually prevent those things. You know, we say a lot of things about it. Oh, no, not my passion. Put it away. You know, so we don't want those negative things. We don't want the accidents. But then how much are we doing to prevent them? That's really the issue. And so, for example, I mean, this is just a better, there can be a better time to really take this on a high level. We've had pandemic, the COVID pandemic. It's highlighted the need for us to be extremely hygienic, keeping our hands clean, you know, maintaining our safe zone, safe area, and also caring for each other, to be honest, because even if you don't think about yourself, you know, think about somebody else. Think about someone who is more vulnerable, someone who has health challenge, you know, that can really learn and benefit. Right. Now, our homes, seriously, government can only do as much to do with our workplaces, but we are responsible for what we do in our homes. And that's really what I'm going to talk about today, domestic accidents. Right, how do we prevent them?
Yes, okay. So, first of all, I just want to say, growing up, we always hear this thing, this is not the kill African man. I wonder where that came from, you know. We just feel like, you're African. In fact, when COVID came, we were so sure that our superior bloodline was going to protect us from it. But that's just on the lighter note. But talking about safety at home, there's something I noticed that many homes in Nigeria don't have. That's the, like the exit, the safety exit. We don't have that. We build our houses sometimes so close to each other. And then neighbors, we all have our generators, and we know how those can be hazardous. We have, you know, different things. So why isn't that part of our plan? Is it, why? Well, what should we do now? If you've already built a house, what do you need to do to have that? And is it important, really?
That's the word. Yes, it's very important, because life, there's no duplicate to life. And so there's not an amount of, and that's what the theme of the World Day for Safety is actually stressing, that you need to invest, you know, reinvest into that resilience, invest into the prevention. If you have to break some windows to put your gas cylinder outside of your house and then pass the pipe in, so be it, you know, but that's protecting yourself. Don't think about, okay, this morning, how am I going to spend so much, you know, to avoid that?
But if I'm staying in a rented flat, I go and break landlord's door or landlord's wall. Now, wahala be that.
Well, it's not wahala, because if there is a fire outbreak, the landlord's house is also coming down. So
I'd like you to just pinpoint those various places within the house. So you talked about the kitchen, the gasoline outside.
Yes.
What else can we do within the house?
Within the house, the first one, which is very common, is, we want to put beautiful tiles in our house. We want it to look really nice. Those things are slippery. So really, if you have children, it's not the best thing to do, to have tiles in your house, because even if they fall on a carpet or if they fall on some wood or something of that nature, the harm will not be as bad. Now, if you now have tiles, put some non-slippery rock that would firm up on it, and avoid them carrying water around, because water and tiles don't mix. And that takes me to the bathroom. A lot of us have so beautiful bathrooms. In fact, there was a time we did a campaign about 7 years ago. We actually took, this was when I was in Lagos State government, and we took the campaign of the hazards, preventing hazards in our home, to our big men, our big women that have expensive houses, that have, you know, so many very expensive tiles in their house. And one of them was actually telling us with a crutch, you know, telling us that that's exactly what injured him. And that he really is not sure whether he can still work with those legs. And what am I saying about this bathroom? If it's either a bathroom, remove the bath if you don't need, if you don't bath. We don't bath in Nigeria, we shower. And in your
so the shower is
cubicle,
safer than the
well,
yeah.
yeah, to an extent. To an extent, yes, it is. Now, if you do have a bath, then make sure you have your rails for holding, for support.
Let me pause it for a second. We need to go back to that bath issue.
Yeah,
Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on the issue of safety. And Tokwe, go ahead.
Well, you were explaining about the importance of having rails in the bathrooms. The real challenge is that many accidents happen, deaths happen based on this baths and this bathroom crisis that is not reported as that's what caused the death. You just said, oh, somebody slipped and died. Absolutely. Oh, somebody slipped. But that's the slip and died usually the bathroom hitting your head. Absolutely. And then nobody to take care of to come to the person's aid. What are the essential things to have in the bathroom to help prevent these things from happening?
Well, like we said earlier on, if you can afford to remove the bath and you don't really soak, because that's really what the bath is for. It's for you to lie in and soak. And if you don't do that, because I can't even remember the last time I, soaked. So, have a shower. Now, shower also has its own as well. Don't remove bath and then put slippery tiles in the shower.
So there are tiles that are not slippery.
Absolutely. They have very rough, well, even if they're more expensive, but at least they save your life. Yeah. They save the accidents, they prevent those things. And to be honest with you, most times they're not as expensive as the shiny ones because it doesn't look glossy. Yeah. It doesn't look attractive.
When you said this thing, something just came to my head because I remember that my son, when my son was about, I think, 3 or 4 years old, my help bath for him. And I saw her in the room, and I'm like, where is the person? He was in the bathroom coming out himself. Oh. I went to the tub, and I saw him trying to maneuver. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, never leave a child in the tub. In the tub.
Yeah. In the tub, in the shower, on vulnerable places. So, and then another thing is also the soap itself, the lather. Slippery. It makes it more slippery. So, but then these are things that we still have to, we must have a shower. I mean, we will have a shower, we'll have a bath.
So there's one more, let me just add to that bathroom. Yeah, that tub one as well. So for me, I took out the thing you use to stop water. Okay. Because the kids tend to just fill it up and play. And we've had many drowning incidents.
Absolutely.
So I take it away. I mean, they don't have it. And when they have to use it, I'm there.
A child should be left in the bath unattended.
Definitely not. Definitely
the other day, my brother's daughter, she got into my bath. I was in the other room, and she had been with the girl. And I said, well, she said she's in the bath. And I went to the bath, and she was there. She had entered the bath by herself. Oh, Lord. And she's only 2. I said, come.
People don't understand that.
And then they see there's this tendency for them to want to think they're swimming.
Yes.
You haven't taken them,
and they don't even know how to.
You haven't taken them swimming, and they're thinking, okay, maybe they've been once or twice. And like, this is lots of water. This is
and the shower. I know somebody who actually mistakenly walked through a glass in the shower. So you have, she doesn't have the tub, but she had the glass, and she totally forgot. She forgot that there's a glass door, and she just walked right into it after the shower.
Yes, I was actually going to draw that into another part of the house, because then you could also have that demarcating kitchen to front room, balcony, and things like that, or sliding doors and things like that. If you do have those kind of clear glass, then try and make a bit of opaque you know, design around it. So at least the person coming can see. You might not want to deface, you know, the house, but, you know, you can put those, you know, frosted, you know, just make it frosted in one area.
I know me have to deface my own. Because the children will just walk into the door.
So frosted or not?
Just put sticker everywhere.
Taking you back to the back, sorry, Tope. Somebody was saying something about bath mats in there. Yes, as safe as they can be, they also wear out. The suction under the mat, you know, eventually will wear, and then they would also slip.
Yeah, mine has actually. I just felt it too. Yesterday, I mean, it's usually it grips, but it doesn't grip anymore. Now it's sliding. It's actually time for them to change.
I want to go back into the construction part. Being into real estate, it dawns on me that when we plan, we don't actively, the average developer is looking for how to spend as little money and maximize the space. So we're not taking into consideration that these two houses are too close together, fire will spread. Yes. We're not taking into consideration the fact that where is the fire escape? A deliberate fire escape, not front door, back door, fire escape.
Absolutely.
And I was talking to an architect and we came up with a suggestion for something we're working on that there should be an option of a window without burglary that you could open out. Yes, and there should be like a ladder-ish. But now the worry is because of robbery. So what I drew from was we watch Hollywood movies where the ladders drop and they can be hung. So you have a drop-down ladder in a window that is upstairs where you can escape if there is anything happening downstairs. And I think that can be an easier modification than having to break anything down.
Absolutely, you don't have to break.
I don't like burglary proof. Because armed robber that wants to enter your house is not going to be cutting any burglary proof. He will stroll inside with you and show you gone.
Like he's not.
So whether you have burglary proof or you don't have. So I don't have burglary proof.
Please let me tell my mother that one because her house is 36 years old and that if we know the burglary proof.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Well, some people have just cut the burglary. They haven't actually totally removed everything. They've made like where you can have. Like a lock around it. They've made it with a hinge, so you can still lock it, but make sure that the key is quite close to where you can access.
We talk about the bathroom, we talk about the kitchen. What else can we do within the house? Because we talk about domestic safety. Living room when you have
stairs.
Some
stairs. Before, I think we'll do that on the way out of the house. You know, let's do the front room, the sitting room, where we all play. For those who have children, naturally, allow your children to understand that you know, they're also responsible to be tidy because when you have untidy environment, you're likely to have sleep, trips, and falls. So those are part of the training that one should give the children. They should understand it. They're not too small to understand tidiness. You know, it's time, okay, you finished you don't make your toys all over the place. Somebody hits the toy or steps on it and then trips over, falls and hits the head on the edge of the furniture or the edge of the chair. You know, that's still a danger as well.
Those tables, those
so those who have dining tables, glass dining tables with sharp edges.
You will not believe I got this really, in fact, my son
beautiful like that.
That's usually the issue. We saved money to go and buy this beautiful center table. It was quite pricey. We liked it. We put it in the living room. This small baby we had, used his head to hit it.
He used his head to hit it, or you put it where his head.
Carry this thing out. So unfortunately, my living room doesn't have a center table and I'm so pained. You know, but I know
it's a sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice.
Let them grow.
The safety. I'll give you this thing you can put on the table.
Right.
The edges.
Right. Let me take Afolayan and come to Mariam. Afolayan, are you there from Lagos?
Yes, I'm here with you.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
What a good contribution. What a good topic on safety. I'm a safety-related person. I handle some of the anti-slip products with banks, with some of our familiar banks. But the problem we are having now is that we don't value safety in this part of the world, which is a crucial problem. When you introduce some of the, take for instance, like my product, we call it anti-slip product, anti-slip steer nosing. When you introduce it to people, they say, what is the need? They wouldn't look at the risk aspect of it. Which the person you brought online has talked about some of the risks and some of the domestic damages it has caused to so many houses. Some of us, we went out, we come in with our shoe. Maybe we have stepped on oil, some invisible object. And we come in on the, we come in walking on the ties. One can easily slip off. And the kind of ties we use in this part of the world, yes, we want better things. We want something that are attractive, but they are risky to us. They endanger us day in, day out. I think there is need for publicity on the use of the kind of ties we use.
Right.
Action.
Thank you very much, Afolayan. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, okay, you were talking about the living room and some of the hazards that can happen.
The tables, the side
the
tables
edges.
that are four corner.
Yes, but do you know there's something for me that bothers me most, and it's the generator fumes from your neighbors. I feel that's a serious safety
absolutely
hazard.
It is.
Especially when you have children, they're sleeping and their window overlooks maybe a neighbor's house. They have their thing, the hose or whatever that comes out of their gen right behind your window.
Yeah.
What can a person do? Because you know you were saying the government can only do so much. Really? Because
the government is not going to come and enforce things inside your house. Gone were the days when we had William in those very early years, you know. But I mean, there's so many more pressing issues that governments are demanding from the government. But let's take responsibility of our own homes and of our own environments. Let's have more NGOs talk a lot more about this. And nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to go to the hospital.
Should I go and meet my neighbor and say,
well, it's a community engagement. Hold meetings, you know, go to meetings and, you know, try and negotiate and discuss about things. I mean, you guys talk a lot about, you know, talk about it, have a dialogue. You know, if it's happening to them, they won't like it either. So please, can you do something about this to change the direction, put it up? You know,
what we
need
did.
to. Yes.
We put it up because when we moved in, we didn't have a next door neighbor. But when they moved in, they complained that the generator, so we had to do it going up.
But I have to go on a break because, I mean, I had that experience before when my husband actually got into a fight with somebody because the woman, her husband wasn't around, and she had a little boy. All night, every night, the baby will be crying, coughing, can't sleep. She didn't have the right to go and tell the person whose generator was near her window. She just came to us because we were approachable. And she begged my husband. My husband went, you know, politely, sir, please remove your generator from this woman's. Over like a few months, the woman kept crying and complaining. All night, we'll be hearing the child cough. Oh, Lord. My husband had to go and meet the man at like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. Turn off the generator, carry it away, and put it. And that's why Wahala started. So, you see, we need people
to be responsible.
That's my word for the season, YK. Thank you very much. That's my word for the season. Stay with us to be right back.
You have to be responsible.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we still have our guest in the building talking on safety. Let's take a few tweets. YK, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to take one, and I wanted you to. His name is Festus Akimbo. He says the thing that annoys me the most is anytime I visit Nigeria is the level of noise and the big number of people that willfully engage in creating noise nuisance everywhere.
It happens in homes. So you have a mosque, you have a church, but throughout COVID, the churches in my area, they all just, when nobody was doing anything, there was no overnight, there was no vigil, we slept well. I think just last week, they resumed work. I mean, usually they have their Sunday services, which is normal. You know, their midweek service, which is normal. But just last week, they started the night services. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, so the speakers are out. So this is still domestic because it's in our homes. How, as a safety expert, what can we do to reduce the noise pollution around us?
It actually crosses with regulatory as well. And I'm sure that's part of what LASEPA does, which is, yes, the protection agency. But before then, like we said earlier on, we just have to be responsible citizens. We have to be caring for each other. We have to care for each other. We must engage. Now, there are meetings that take place. We used to have those meetings in those days when some people would just sleep. But yes, there's no meeting again. But create meetings, engage with the neighbors. By the time you gather 1, 2 more people talking about a specific issue, and you all go amicably to go and meet the leaders of such places, I mean, they're expecting people to come and worship. And the people that you want to come and worship, let's say they live in the neighborhood, and you're already disturbing them. You know, they will do something about it. You know, so you just have to be persistent. You have to be consistent. You have a dialogue.
There's a message I want you to address. Somebody sent me a private message. Okay. She says that, ask your guests. Myself and my husband make our private bedrooms our sacred place to do all the... How our children have somewhat found out our gadgets, and we've been trying to keep it safe from them. So how do we ensure our room is still... I think what you're trying to say is that the room has you know, when you make your room like this place where very, very, you know, erotic room where it's just you and Oga. And when the kids are coming through the day, you make it normal. But somehow they find these things. Is it this, would you advise her that they shouldn't even do this in the house at all? Because they'll say that...
Yeah, we said it's on the road.
You know, when you have children in the house, how do you do it? I mean, we're different. You are an adult. You are in the 60s.
No entry.
I am a young woman. I have children in the house. Should I be in my house with all these gadgets?
Well, honestly speaking, you have to be, we said, responsible now.
Right.
And we also have to think of the children. As much as you want to have your own space and your pleasure, you have to have a balance. You have to think
tell that to the husbands.
Yes, you have to have a balance. You have to have a balance. In the sense that...
I think what you would do is have a room where you lock these things and the children don't have access.
In the house?
Children are curious.
The children we have nowadays,
yes,
they will teach you things that you've not been able to find out on your system.
What is that chain for? What is that handcuff for? What is that rope for? They'll be asking those kind of questions.
Are you using handcuffs?
Not me. Not me. I'm just saying that, listen, we are adults. We are adults here. And we're talking about safety in the homes.
Yes.
The bedroom is our sacred place.
Yes.
And things happen there that nobody knows. Right? That nobody's supposed to know.
Yes.
So how do you keep that place safe from children?
Well, the dialogue. We need to also let the children understand. Yes, we are adults. You're grown up, and that's part of what you teach them when they're not supposed to go on Sunday things on the phone, where they're not supposed. So they must understand boundaries, no doubt, and at the same time, you don't want to flaunt your privacy, you know, in their faces as well.
Can you just put on your door,
that's the balance.
Do not
oh Lord,
enter
that is when they will enter.
Exactly.
Because children are naturally curious, you know. But have a word with them, engage them like you do.
But does that also happen to people that have rifles? You know, there are people that have rifles in their homes.
Exactly, because
and
that's
these
dangerous.
Students find it.
Yes.
And so you said, I mean, these are safety things across board. So we talked about the bathroom, the bedrooms, the kitchen, the living room,
about the living
stairs.
room. We're going to the stairs, and that's what. Yes, the stairs. There's so many stairs that have treads that are so steep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you are thinking, how do we do this? Put a non-slippery tape on the edge. Those things are very cheap. Just put them on the edge. And then there are some that are even reflective. Let's say the light goes off. You could just put it on the edge, those tips. You don't have to have it. You don't have to have it in posh places. You can have it in your home, and they are really, really cheap. Just stick them. Yes, and you reflect. Because when the light goes off, before you go and put this on and put that, but at least you can see it glowing. So you know, things. So those are tapes, very simple.
There's a couple of days ago when the light went off. I was coming down the stairs, the light went off. And then I misjudged the next step, and I went boom.
Exactly.
Now, let's go back to the kitchen for a minute. I don't know if you have a question concerning that.
So when we talk about the kitchen, putting the gas outside, there are other things that electrical appliances that we must be careful about. How can we better protect ourselves against gas outside electrical appliances?
Electrical appliances, don't put them near water. First of all, we were talking about design the other time. You know, when kitchens or homes are being designed, that's really where the safety should have been imputed. We mentioned that, okay, fine, this house has been built. How do you then amend it and things like that? Your kitchen should have a flow of an L shape, L operation. So where you have water, preparation and things like that, and then cooking, and then it's like those industrial kitchen, you can mirror it in your house as well. Not all over the place. You have water on this side, water on that side. There's no dry space for you. So those are the areas where you should put your sockets.
Let me ask about fumigation. Okay, because people fumigate. We need to fumigate. There are cockroaches, ants, and all that in the houses. But what time frame do you have because some will say you take the kids out for an hour, 2 hours, with the weekend, is it a day? What's the best time to fumigate and then re-enter the house?
I'm not a fan of fumigation, honestly speaking, but then if you have to use it, yes, of course, you have to. The reason why I'm not a fan of fumigation is because it's a chemical.
Okay.
We didn't really talk about the chemicals of where some people put kerosene, petrol, and things like that in drinking bottles, not many brands now. They don't even remove the label from them, and then they just put them there. So going back to fumigation, they're chemicals. So really, there's a deposit at some point. Now, why do you need to fumigate? Cleanliness is what it is. Why do you have cockroach? Cockroach will be attracted to grease. So flush with hot water, clean. You will have less times to need to fumigate. You know, oftentimes we don't want to do the thorough hot wash. We don't want to do the thorough, we're busy. Rodents will not come if you block the access, if you put your rubbish in right places. That brings us to separating your waste. If you separate your waste inside your house, the ones that actually smell and draw those insects or those rodents are very small. Those are the perishable things. The things that really mount up are the boxes. Boxes, tissues. So you will not need to fumigate. Now, going back to your question, yes, of course, once you've fumigated, there are different grades and there are different instructions on them. Ask them, how many hours do we need to keep away? And then how many, minutes and things like that. And then when you come back, you also need to clean, because you will have deposits of the chemicals and things.
Don't just go right into it.
Don't just go into it. You know, you still need to clean. You cover your pores.
But this one is very important. I needed, you know, these plugs. Little babies, when they just start walking, they go and put their hands in those plugs.
Yes.
You know, what can you do? Because in England now, they
have to put the plug covers. Put plug covers. They're plastics. These things can be made here. They're just plastics. We have plastic slippers, plastic bag. Let somebody start creating them. It could be made. You know, plastic, you know.
Unfortunately,
there's a lot to talk about safety. I'm sorry. I'm cutting in, but...
It's okay. You know? I mean, we've learned a few things. I don't think I have time for tweets, but we've learned quite a bit from you today.
Yes,
Thank you so much for contributing to this topic. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll take those tweets. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So still commemorating World Day for Safety and Health. Well, this time around, we'll be talking about safety in children and schools. Joining us to discuss more on this is a social development strategist with a specialty in creating products and providing policy advisory on pressing developmental issues affecting young children. Welcome with us, Ugochi Obiadegu. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
So we're still talking about World Day for Health and Safety, and we're quite concerned about our schools, you know, especially because the children are there most of the day. I mean, at least they're there for 5-6 hours, and we're concerned. As much as many schools try to take right measures, but sustaining that measure is a problem. So in your view, how do we begin to ensure that our schools are safer for children, especially now that we still have a pandemic with us?
Okay, so thank you so much for that question, and thank you so much for having me on the show today. So it's really important that our schools are safe. And one of the things we've noticed, most especially in the pandemic, is the fact that compliance has dwindled. And that's because people think, oh, well, it seems there's something working for us in this part of the world that is not working for other people. And that's not entirely true. So compliance must be enforced. Now, how do we ensure compliance? The first thing I always say is we have to improve knowledge. Because when people are more conscious of the effects of not doing what they're supposed to do, then they will take action. Now, when you increase knowledge, then the next is you've also got to empower these children. Because it's not enough for you to just, you know, teach one person and then that's all. No. You can't just say it once and it's okay. You have to continuously reinforce that messaging using several methods. And that can be through creative methods, like maybe using posters, using books. You could also even play games with the children. Then another thing that is really important is good modeling. I noticed when I had to visit some schools this period that even the teachers are not putting it on properly. So you see the case of maybe it's on their mouth or it's on their ear. No, if you are not wearing, why should I, the child, wear? And that's a problem. So for example, the mask, the efficiency of a mask is two things, the fit and filter. So if some parts are exposed or maybe the filter efficiency is not good, then it's not even performing what it's supposed to do. And so good modeling is very important. Another thing that we can do in schools is to make sure that both parties are carried along. So it's not enough to just say school management should go around, monitor what's going on. How about we include teachers and students in the process? Because we need people to take ownership of the process. When people take ownership of something, they are more invested. And of course, we have to see how to maybe do rewards and penalties. If people are not doing the right thing, what are you going to do? Are you going to ignore it? If you ignore it, then something is going to go wrong. Right. Because you just need one weak link in your safety system, and then it causes a problem in your school.
Yes, go ahead,
Okay, yeah, so when going through your CV, it talks about that you work concerning child safety and also reducing substance abuse in youth. This is a huge topic for us here, substance abuse. So could you just tell us a little about the work that you do in that area?
So it actually started during the pandemic because we realized that substance abuse it's actually an epidemic in this country. And recently, with the videos that have shown up on social media, it's now becoming obvious. But it's actually been there, sort of undercover, but it's been going on. So what we started to do was, okay, so there is a three-pronged approach we do, but we just started with one, and that's bringing in recovered drug users. So you've done your rehabilitation, but coming back into the system to get good work, it's not a problem because maybe you don't have enough skills and all that. So what we decided to do was to provide training. So we did a bit in Lagos, but we've done more actually in Kaduna because we realized that it's bad across the country, but it's really bad over in the north, yes? So we decided to make sure that we provide training for recovered drug users. But you see, in the course of having conversation with some of them, they majorly pointed out that peer pressure was a huge factor. So if you, the parent, if you're not doing your part enough at the home front, if that messaging is not reinforced in the school, if that messaging is not reinforced in our places of worship, if it's not reinforced in the media, it's a problem. So if you only teach in one place and the other stakeholders are not doing what they're supposed to do, it's a problem. So that's why it should be a multi-stakeholder approach to managing substance abuse. Because you can't tell me at home, oh, don't do this. My school says don't do it. And then I come to the music videos, they are glorifying it. And these are the things they see on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, these are the people that are the role models to these young people. So we've got to make sure that across board, basically, that everybody is keeping their end of the bargain.
Oh my goodness! Yes. You just hit the right note. Let me stay on this training for a minute. I'll come to Tope and YK. It's one thing to train. Let me pick your brain a bit because people train. Politicians will train. They'll gather people, train this, soap making, bead making, can you call me train? But is there a measurement, a number of to see if indeed these trainings are effective, people are actually using it, and it's actually, they're now becoming empowered to work, not just to have the knowledge, because half of them just get trained and just go right back to status quo.
So when you're designing programs for people, development programs, it's really important that you build in monitoring and evaluation into it from the beginning. Right. It's not enough to just do the training and go. Very, very important. You have to create a system that, okay, do we check up with these people every month or every quarter and see the progress made? Many times, because some programs may not really have enough funding, maybe all they can do is just train. And then they're not able to do the necessary monitoring and evaluation. But if you have a bit of funds and you build in the monitoring and evaluation into it, you would see that you can now see what works and what doesn't work. Fantastic. And you see what to remove and what to tweak.
Thank you.
So going back to safety, safety also includes protection from drug abuse and other abuse. How do you believe the school... What do you think is the lacuna in the school system right now that is allowing these things filtering? And let's not talk about private school. They seem to have a bit of ideal. But the majority of Nigerians are in the public school sector. What is that gap that has allowed many of the children fall under peer pressure and get into cultism, other forms of abuse that is entrapping them away from the core of education?
So I would say these children are coming from communities, right? What are they seeing being modeled around them? They are coming from homes. Now, even if your house, your parents are doing the right thing, what are the people around you doing? So many times, children are taking what they have experienced in their environment and then trying to recreate it in the school system. So maybe in your community there is this popular tout that makes things happen and everybody pays obeisance to him. Now you come to school, you want to come and be the one. You know, you're organizing people to be loyal to you and then people are not loyal to you. You gather people together to beat them up. And so they now begin to create a system of what they are seeing in the society within their school.
Oh, Gochi, you're hitting the nail on the head. And I'm just, because I'm actually picturing what you're saying.
Yes.
I'm picturing it.
It's the same thing with, sorry to digress, but it's the same thing with our politicians. Our politicians are stealing money, then they're telling you, don't be a thief.
That's a bigger safety.
Like you always go back to the
politicians. No, I have to go there because it's the same thing. We are saying the artists are the role models. You see an artist smoking a joint, you want to be like that artist. You see a politician chopping money. You too, I want to be like that politician.
Yeah, it's across board.
So
what are we modeling?
It has contributed to the decadence, the decay of our society.
But what can teachers do? You know, what are the things teachers can look out for, and how can we empower teachers to spot the lack of safety in the environment? Maybe what are they saying? Maybe teachers' phones. What can they do?
Okay, so teachers, there's a limit to what teachers can. I'm going to stand on the side of teachers today. They can try, but there is a limit. So teachers can teach. They can try to do positive modeling. They can show them what's going on in other parts of the world and let them know that if you do this, this is what's likely to happen to you. But if you follow the right path, your future is bright. These are the other things that can happen for you. When we begin to have that positive interviewing with our students, modeling the good things that can happen, and letting them see that this other way, it might look sharper, it might look faster, but it's not enduring.
I hate to burst your bubble. I'm sorry. I hate to burst your bubble, but that's not working. That's the truth. It's not working. Because, I mean, I remember I went to an event where I was saying that a professor was talking about he had accomplished without stealing money. He had built one house, he has 2 cars, and his children are abroad. That's his own accomplishment. And I got up at that event. I said, young people, between him and the XYZ artist who has billions, or is talking about billions in their accounts, who are you more inspired by? This professor who is proudly saying he has built 1 or 2 houses. Legitimately. And the guy that is saying, listen, I have billions by just doing this.
What? So modeling the right thing, we actually have rich people who got rich doing the right things. How about these people begin to share their stories, begin to come out there? Because if you notice, many people who have done good stuff, they're not really sharing their stories because they don't want village people and all those kind of things. But if you are not coming out and saying that I did it without going through the batter, the other people will keep, it looks like they're the winning team. But they are not. We actually have good people who are doing amazing stuff and they need to come out more, share their stories. We're not asking them to brag, but, you know, just be real. Share your experience.
What she said is the people that made their money the right way, they've
not made that much money.
Some of them have made, I'm telling you, some of them have made, but they don't want to. So like, don't look like they're showing off. You know, there's this thing in this part of the world, so that they will not say, you know,
the Yoruba has that saying.
There are 2. The proverb is that you don't expose yourself unnecessarily until like you have really blown. And also, sometimes when you say what you have, people will now, community of beggars, then they will now come and meet you because they feel you have enough money to solve their life's problems. So that might be one of the drawbacks, but I get what you're saying. Celebrities have glamorous lives, and so they are more attractive. And if we make legitimate entrepreneurs also look that glamorous, they would be...
No, why you say celebrities are not legitimate? They're legitimate.
Yes, no, celebrity does not necessarily mean...
Like a more glamorous.
Okay, if you are talking of the... puppies, those ones are different.
Yes.
Because those are the glamorous.
Yes. Designer.
And they show you the designer.
Okay, let me come to Mariam for a second.
See, I just want to take you back to this substance abuse again. Okay. And for me is, in your work with these people, would you say that parents are not doing enough? Are we speaking enough to our children? Are we educating them enough? Are we, the parents, aware enough of what is actually happening concerning substance use and abuse?
So I don't think a lot of parents really understand the gravity of what's going on. And that's why a lot of people were surprised when they saw the videos that trended on social media recently. But if they've been listening to their children, And if they've created an environment where the children can talk, they would have heard stuff. There is something I always talk about on social media where I say that families should have what I call a family safety meeting. Now, it's not a meeting, but it's just, you know, an opportunity for families to bond. Now, in the course of bonding, you teach a safety topic. Now, if people do that every week, by the end of the quarter, you have taught several topics. And you would have maybe touched on substance abuse this week. Next week, you do child sexual abuse. The upper week, fire safety. By the time, you would have covered a lot. Now, many times, our children are thrown into society and they experience things outside before they hear about it. So they don't even know how to act because nobody prepared them. And we must build resilience because the things the children are seeing out there, if people didn't see that video of people mixing all those drinks, they wouldn't have known that's a reality in many parties secondary school students organize. So if you're not having these conversations up front, have the conversations up front before they meet it, so that when they meet it, they can make good decisions.
Oh my goodness! You know, thank you. Because I remember, because I've shared my story several times where I was, I think I was 16 or 17 when my brother's wife, for the first time, tried to give me alcohol. Just not because she wanted me to be addicted, she wanted me to just understand. Because I was going off to college, you know. Yeah. She wanted me to know that, listen, this has happened. She'll tell you, don't take a drink from anybody. If you they have these bowls of punch, they put stuff in there. Yes. Don't take. Always just go and get your own drink yourself. You know, she practically educated me. So when I was going out, I was equipped with information. I was not having this conversation because
not having it
over my dead body. My child will not say it.
I always say, God forbid, it's not my portion. It's not a strategy. It's not.
So they said that there is kidnapping and killing everywhere. Do you know what everybody is saying? Let us pray. Nobody is acting.
There's a place for prayer, right? But it's also the place for...
I'm not saying prayer is not
ourselves.
I am saying, what is the point of praying if you are not acting?
Yeah.
True. Very true.
If you are not doing something to solve that problem. You see, when God created us, He created... I don't know whether God is he or she. When God created...
He or she created...
Everybody. You are eyes, nose, mouth, everything.
So hand, ready to
brain.
go.
The most important thing, the brain. I've equipped you. The same way you will equip your child.
Absolutely.
And send the child to school. You are not going to go and sit down there and write paper for the child. You have to leave the child at the door. Teacher will not even let you enter the classroom.
Yes.
You go. It's the same way that the Creator has created us. Go and
do the right thing.
And use your brain.
Use your brain.
Yeah.
So then you are not using your brain. You are saying, God answered my prayer. Which prayer?
Even the Bible says faith without works is nonsense.
Yeah. It's not, so we've actually learned a whole lot, and I think that sometimes it might be good to do like a recap of the things we've learned and actionable steps. I'm blown away by the suggestion of having a safety meeting where these things are discussed in the house first. Maybe preferably age-appropriate conversations.
Age-appropriate, very important.
And then modeling the right things is very important, school and all of that. But if there are like 5 core topics you think every parent should have a conversation with their children, would you list those 5? Like 5 key areas children should, parents should tell their children about.
Children and
should be part of that conversation.
Yes.
Those 5 topics.
Okay, so top 5, I would say we need to address this issue of abuse, because the age range keeps going down by the day. Babies in Pampers are being abused.
Okay, you're talking sexual abuse.
Yes, sexual abuse, yes. So that's very important. Fire safety is also very important. No matter how much you love your child, you will not be with them 24/7. And if something happens, would they even know what to do? Yes. Then road safety is also important. Then how to prevent abduction. You know, there was this case where a child had been dropped up in front of school, and then a man offered her either chocolate or something, and then she went, and he said, okay, come, there is more, and she followed. But then because she started, you know, screaming and all that, another person that just felt like something is not right here. And when she asked, the child said, I don't know this person. And then, you know, he now dropped and all that. But if this kind of conversations happen early, they know to avoid baits. Then, okay, I've said... then there's road safety, very important, because you don't want to know what these children are doing on the roads. They're basically having fun. They are running, playing, and all this sort of stuff. It's very important that they learn. And then, of course, falls. So I have a child safety storybook series. When I go to primary schools, I read the story. Now, there's one of the stories that says, Toby was trying to fly like Superman, and he fell off the stairs. Everywhere I read that, all the children laugh, both public and private school. And that's because at one point in their life,
they tried
Superman stunt. You know, so that place of falls, sleep, trips, and falls is very important also.
Oh my goodness, fantastic. I love it.
So the older children,
sexual abuse,
this is for the younger children, the older children.
The thing is, these topics can actually cover all of them. But the only difference is the complexity would vary according to the age of the child. So if, for example, you're talking about abuse and molestation with a secondary school student, it will be totally different from when you're talking to maybe the ones in primary school. Now, if I go to primary schools and I'm teaching them about fire safety, I'm basically talking about, you know, prevention, what not to do. But when I go to secondary schools, I'm telling them about the triangle of fire. I'm telling them some more. I might even maybe play around with how to use a fire extinguisher and tell them you are not supposed to use, your job is to look for an adult. But basically, it has to be age appropriate.
Oh, goodness. Thank you. I mean, I think you really give us some insights today. Really appreciate you, Ogochi. Thank you very much for coming today. And I think you're somebody we need to bring back again because issue of safety. All right. So before we wrap up, do you have any tweets, YK?
Drug? Not really.
Any tweets on this?
Oh, let me see.
While we are looking for tweets, because it's YK's birth month, May, and we want to continue to celebrate YK, so we are saying that every Tuesday, we're trying to get a lovely gift. It's her birthday. So your first gift for the month of May, I wish I could get her reaction. The camera can pick up your reaction, please. So your YK's, your first gift is today. Please come right in and bring in YK's gift.
My God.
60 is a big age, and we're not taking it for granted. So we're going to give you your very, very, very first gift. Her birthday is May 24th. Her birthday is May 24th, but we just feel that it was important to give you this gift for this month, just to start off. This is just appetizer. We are not here there. We are doing it small, small. So happy birthday in advance. Well,
you have a card.
And there's a card. Would you like to read the card?
Please.
Have a card.
You people.
No. This.
Sorry. Welcome to the month of your birth. To the year of another. Read it for me.
Okay.
Welcome to the month of your birth, to the year of another amazing milestone. This is just to say thank you for showing us how fabulously to be almost 60. We love you. From the ladies of your view. To your name.
YK,
We love you
so
much.
24th, so you're not there yet, though. You're just small.
There's more to come.
There's more to come.
So happy birthday in advance,
And
YK.
we love you
so much, YK. We love you with all our hearts and soul.
Thank you.
So from all the ladies, Bisi is not here, Nima is not here.
Yeah.
We send our love to you and we say happy birthday in advance.
Thank you so much. Oh my God.
Any speeches?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my God.
All right, let's go.
I can't even talk.
I'll give you a minute.
Give me a minute.
Okay, do you want to
Thank you so much, ladies. Very unexpected. You've overwhelmed me. I mean, your hairstyle. Don't worry, next time, it's not going to be a surprise next time.
You think you know. Don't worry. We'll sort it out. Don't worry. All right, but we have to wrap up the show. Thank you very much, Gochi, again. We had a fabulous time with you. Thank you so much.
Informative.
That's all we can take on the show. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.